Are you over 60? In this video we will see what is the most dangerous meat you can eat. Perhaps, like many people, you have a rather simple, and sometimes wrong, idea about which meat is good and which is bad for your health. We've been told for years that red meat is dangerous, that we should eat less of it, and that white meat like chicken is better, healthier. Then there's fish, often considered the absolute champion for heart health, full of omega-3s. This is the classic division, almost everything we have ever heard on the subject. They avoid beef, eat lean chicken and lots of fish. The reasons? Mainly related to different amounts of saturated fat and cholesterol, and their supposed impact on diseases such as heart attack. But what if I told you that much of this common perception is completely wrong? That the meat that is most dangerous to you, to your metabolism, to the well-being of the elderly, may not be the one you think? I'm so excited to delve into this topic with you, to break down the details and compare different types of meat to help you really understand what's going on your plate. So get ready because we're going to go slow, keep it simple, but reveal important truths. But before we dive into this crucial and often misunderstood topic, I ask you to like this video and share it with people you think could benefit from this information. In this way, you will help us grow, and them to feel better. And please let us know in the comments where you stand, and what your current perception of meat is. Do you eat a lot of red meat? Do you prefer chicken or fish? We'd love to hear from you. In this video, we will reveal what is the most dangerous meat you can eat, analyzing the different types, their fats, production methods, and their real impact on your health after 60. And if you stay until the end, you will discover not only the most dangerous meat, but also the absolute number one is the best option you can choose for your well-being. Well, let's start by looking at the truth about the composition of different meats. Often, we only talk about the total amount of fat. Of course, there is a great deal of variation based on the cut. A lean beef tenderloin has little fat, while fattier cuts can reach 30% fat. But when we cook these fatty cuts, for example, ground beef, a lot of the fat contained in them melts away, rarely will more than 15% remain. Pork, on average, is a little leaner than beef overall, around 10 to 15%. But again, it varies a lot, think chop versus rib-eye. Chicken, or rather, poultry in general, also has a wide spectrum. A skinless breast is very lean, but skin legs and wings add fat. If you eat a whole chicken, the average will be just under 10%. What about fish? There's a huge difference between species. Salmon, often touted for its healthy fats and low mercury, is around 13%. So when it comes to total fat, the difference is more about the cut you choose than the type of animal itself. But now let's talk about the different types of fats present. They are not all the same. We find monounsaturated fatty acids, such as those in olive oil and avocado, which are considered healthy. Many people think that meat only has saturated fats, but in reality, surprisingly, beef contains about 45% monounsaturated fats of the total fat. Pork is similar, chicken a little less, and fish a little higher. So, even from animal products we get these healthy fats. Then there are saturated fats, which we often think of when we talk about meat and cholesterol. Again, they are not inherently unhealthy, especially if they come from an animal that has lived a healthy life. In beef, about 40% of the fat is saturated. In pork, about 35%. In chicken, about 30%. In salmon, about 20%. All, as you can see, contain significant amounts. What about cholesterol? The next problem often associated with meat-related heart disease. Let's look at the numbers in milligrams. Remember, total fat is measured in grams, so we're on a much smaller scale here, milligrams per 100 grams of meat. In beef, about 80. In pork, the same. In chicken, the same. In salmon, a little less, but still in the same range. So when people tell you that meat cholesterol is so terrible, remember that it's not true. If we add monounsaturated and saturated fats, we get about 85% of the fat in beef, a little less in pork and chicken, and about 60% in salmon. What's in the rest? Polyunsaturated fatty acids. These are generally considered good, and contain mostly omega-6s and omega-3s. Both are necessary. However, with modern nutrition, intensive farming, and the use of refined vegetable oils, we consume too much omega-6. So, while omega-3s may traditionally be considered good, omega-6s are considered potentially inflammatory. This is where the production method comes in. Compare grass-fed beef to factory-farmed beef. In the larger plants, thousands of animals live in horrible conditions, eat unhealthy food, often grains, get sick, and take antibiotics. This is not only cruel, it affects the meat. In grass-fed beef, however, the omega-6/omega-3 ratio is completely different, considered very healthy and optimal for us. In intensively raised beef, omega-3 becomes almost non-existent. The same can be said about pork. Intensively raised pork has fats that are harmful to our health, while grass-fed pork, on the contrary, is much healthier and good for our health. Moving on to salmon, we note that wild salmon is much healthier and contains a very high amount of omega-3. Farmed salmon, on the other hand, is often unhealthy and contains more omega-6 than omega-3. Therefore, farmed salmon is harmful to our health. Wild salmon is the best of all. So, to recap and categorize meats, the best option for our health is to eat grass-fed beef and wild salmon. Grass-fed beef is healthy, clean food, if organic, has an anti-inflammatory compound, conjugated linoleic acid, and a great omega-6/omega-3 ratio. Wild salmon is the best source of omega-3s, although you have to be careful of marine toxins and not overdo it. A couple of times a week is enough. In third place, I put pastured chicken and pork. They are healthy food if raised properly, free to roam, eat bugs and grass. The fat ratio is not as great as beef or salmon, because there is more omega-6 than omega-3, but it is decent. Now, let's look at the options to be much more careful about. From fifth place onwards, we have factory farmed animals and farmed fish. Fifth place is farmed salmon, sixth place is farmed beef, seventh place is farmed pork, eighth place is farmed chicken. They have a lot in common: horrible conditions, use of antibiotics and potential hormones. Much worse omega-6 to omega-3 ratios, often with artificial coloring in the salmon to make it look red. So, remember, we have two broad categories: natural, green, relatively healthy, great as a base for your diet if you find and cook it yourself, and factory farms. But the real most dangerous meat is often not the type of animal or even the factory farm, but what we do to the meat afterwards. And here is where the most dangerous meat is, the one that, if you are over the age of 60, you should consider eliminating or drastically reducing to avoid risks such as cancer, heart attack, diabetes, obesity, and worsening your metabolism and cholesterol. I am talking about processed meat. Not just ground beef or whole breast meat. I am talking about processed meat that comes from mass production. The one that has been transformed into a chemical experiment. To these meats, a lot of things are added: artificial flavors, colors, sugars, in the form of high fructose corn syrup, preservatives and additives with unpronounceable names, modified starch, protein isolates, often soy, binders and fillers. Sometimes, there is barely any meat left. Think of chicken nuggets. Do you think you're feeding chicken to your kids or eating it as a healthy snack? It's the worst kind of chicken possible. Think about it, it could be less than 50% meat. The rest is chemicals: bread, wheat, soy, rich in omega-6. And then it's often fried in oils rich in omega-6. This goes for cheap sausages, hot dogs, canned meats, fish fingers, often made with low-quality fish and lots of fillers, and most standard deli meats and cold cuts, unless you choose the specific organic, grass-fed, additive-free ones. So, the perception that red meat is bad in chicken, which we find everywhere in fast food, almost sold as healthy food, is good, is turned on its head. The most dangerous meat is not beef or pork itself. It is the meat from intensive farming, but especially the processed meat resulting from that mass production. It is the combination of the unhealthy source and the addition of everything that your body, especially after the age of 60, has a hard time managing and eliminating. So, if you are over 60 and you really want to take care of your health, your diet, your eating habits for your well-being for life and to avoid serious risks, reduce or eliminate processed meat from mass production. When you eat meat, choose quality, grass-fed beef, free-range chicken and pork, wild fish. This is real healthy food, the nutrition you need.
Have you ever wondered if the vitamins you take every morning might be doing you more harm than good? It may seem incredible to you, but older adults who take the wrong supplements have up to a 40% higher risk of premature death. And that's not an exaggeration, it's real clinical data. One vitamin we'll talk about has been linked to brain shrinkage. Another increases the risk of stroke and nerve damage, even at normal doses, and you could take it every day. After 65, your liver slows down, your kidneys can no longer eliminate the excess. Your nerves are more fragile. These vitamins build up, poison your cells, and mimic symptoms you attribute to aging. But it's not about age, it's an avoidable health problem for seniors if you know what to do. In this video, we will show you the 4 vitamins to avoid after the age of 65 and the 4 vitamins that you should take daily. Stay until the end, because the vitamins we are talking about are often suggested to the elderly, and so it is important that you know what is going on. Before we begin, please like the video, share it with those who might benefit from it, and tell me in the comments where you're watching the video from. Now let's start with the vitamins to avoid. The first one we talk about, although it seems harmless, can cause serious damage in the elderly. I am talking about vitamin A in retinal form. It supports vision, the immune system, and skin. But for those over 65, too much vitamin A, particularly retinal, can build up and lead to toxicity. Vitamin A is fat-soluble. It accumulates in the liver and adipose tissue. With age, the liver and fat reserves change, and vitamin A accumulates. This buildup becomes toxic with mild symptoms like dry skin or dizziness. You might think it's aging, but it could be vitamin toxicity, especially if you're taking more than 2,000 to 3,000 micrograms a day. A 2022 review linked excess vitamin A in older adults to a 25% increased risk of atrial fibrillation, increasing the risk of stroke after age 65. This is among the vitamins that are dangerous for older adults. If you are taking retinol and are over 65, reconsider taking it. Your body needs vitamin A, but not in this form. Get it from sweet potatoes, carrots, spinach, as beta-carotene, a safer form. If your multivitamin contains retinol, check the label. More than 700 micrograms for women and 900 for men can be dangerous. The safest move for your health? Go for natural sources. Iron as a supplement is another vitamin to watch out for. Iron is essential, but for seniors, it can be a silent threat. If you take it just in case after age 65, it could do you more harm than good. Many think it fights fatigue, but after age 65, the body stops losing iron and it accumulates, mainly in the liver, heart, and pancreas. Excess causes oxidative stress, damaging cells and organs, and increases harmful compounds linked to diseases such as Alzheimer's. Very few older adults need iron supplements. Unless you have a diagnosed deficiency, you probably already get enough from your diet, meats, beans, vegetables. A supplement can throw off the balance. The symptoms of iron overload are subtle: joint pain, fatigue, memory problems. Often mistaken for aging, excess iron damages the brain, liver, and heart. If you take a multivitamin with iron, talk to your doctor and ask for a serum ferritin test. If your stores are high, you may need to cut back on red meat and stop taking supplements. Choose multivitamins without iron, especially for the elderly. Iron is useful when you are young, but after 65, it is risky for your organs. Calcium as a supplement is also not a good habit. It is featured in many bone health advertisements for seniors. But many over 65 do not know that calcium supplements, if taken alone, can increase the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and calcification of the arteries. It is science, not fearmongering. Calcium is essential, but it is crucial where it ends up in your body. After age 65, bones absorb less efficiently. Excess calcium ends up in soft tissue, joints, and, dangerously, arteries. Many older people take it for their bones, but their bodies can't handle it. Instead of strengthening bones, it hardens arteries and increases the risk of stroke. It can also cause digestive problems and reduce the absorption of other minerals. If you take antacids, calcium won't be absorbed properly. The best approach? Get calcium from your diet. Green leafy vegetables, sardines, yogurt, almonds. The body absorbs it better and safely. If you need more, combine vitamin D3 and vitamin K2, which direct it to the bones, away from the arteries. If your multivitamin contains too many milligrams of calcium and your diet is already high in calcium, reconsider your strategy. Your bones need balance and your heart needs calcium in the right places. Another example of vitamins to avoid after age 60. Let's move on to vitamin B6 in high doses. Many consider it harmless, taken for energy or mental clarity. It is in many multivitamins and recommended by doctors, but after age 65, high doses can silently destroy the nervous system and reduce muscle strength. Although it is water-soluble, in large quantities it accumulates in nervous tissue, becoming neurotoxic. It damages sensory nerves, causing tingling, numbness, balance problems, and muscle weakness. Many older adults with these symptoms are misdiagnosed when the cause is excess vitamin B6. The official upper limit is 100 milligrams per day, but research shows that even 50 milligrams per day can cause toxicity in older adults. Many supplements exceed this limit. Once nerve damage begins, healing is slow. Older adults are more vulnerable because of their slow metabolism. What is safe? You need vitamin B6, but in moderation. The recommended dose is 5 milligrams for women and 7 milligrams for men, found in chickpeas, tuna, bananas. Unless you are clinically deficient, you do not need high-dose supplements. If your multivitamin contains more than 5 to 10 milligrams of B6, it is time to change. Consult a doctor to test your levels. After age 65, too much can mean permanent nerve damage. This is one of the vitamins that is dangerous for seniors. And now, let's move on to the 4 essential vitamins to take every day if you're over 60. Magnesium, one of the most overlooked nutrients in aging, but a critical one. After age 65, your magnesium stores decline. Reduced absorption, kidneys that waste more, and many common medications contribute to deficiency. The result? Fatigue, muscle cramps, poor sleep, anxiety, irregular heartbeat, often mistaken for symptoms of aging. But by replenishing magnesium, older adults often report significant improvements. Magnesium is essential for over 300 enzyme systems. It regulates blood pressure, supports nerves and muscles, stabilizes blood sugar, and maintains heart rhythm. Deficiency is linked to dementia and type 2 diabetes. Not all magnesium supplements work. The best options for older adults are bioavailable forms such as magnesium glycinate, citrate, or malate. They are gentler and better absorbed. The ideal dose is about 250 to 400 milligrams per day. You can also get it from foods like green leafy vegetables, avocado, pumpkin seeds, but supplementation is often necessary for your senior nutrition, especially with multiple medications. Vitamin D. It's not just for your bones, it's one of the most important hormones in your body. After age 65, your ability to produce it drops by more than half. If you spend a lot of time indoors, your levels can plummet. The consequences are serious. Vitamin D deficiency is associated with fatigue, thinning bones, muscle weakness, and poor immunity. The link to chronic disease is alarming. Older adults with vitamin D deficiency are at increased risk of respiratory infections and death from all causes. Vitamin C is essential for the immune system, reduces inflammation, and improves tissue repair. People with higher levels of C get sick less and heal faster. In the brain, it supports memory and mood. Most older adults are deficient. The recommended dose is 6 to 800 IU, but many older adults require 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day. If your levels are low, you may need more under medical supervision. The best form is cholecalciferol or CHR, better absorbed and more bioactive. You can take it liquid or in capsules, preferably with fat. These are the best vitamins after 60 years. Vitamin B12, an underrated nutrient that fuels red blood cells, nerves, and the brain. Many older adults suffer from underlying deficiencies, causing weakness and memory problems, even misdiagnosis of dementia. If you are over the age of 65, you may be deficient in vitamin B12 and not know it. Initial symptoms are mild, fatigue, poor memory, tingling. But over time, the deficiency can mimic dementia and affect balance. It is essential for nerve health and brain function, but as we age, our stomachs produce less stomach acid, making it harder to absorb from food. Common medications exacerbate the problem. The result? You may eat well but slip into deficiency. Vitamin B12 deficiency can also cause leg weakness and falls. Many older adults think it is just aging, but it can be reversible. How to solve it? Don't rely on food alone. After the age of 60, vitamin B12 from food is poorly absorbed. The best option is supplementation with methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin, which bypass the stomach. The ideal dose is 500 to 1,000 micrograms per day, but some may need more. Vitamin B12 is water-soluble. The excess is eliminated. You can take it in tablets or sublingually. If you are over 65 and have not checked your vitamin B12, ask your doctor to test it. If resolved, your brain, muscles, and nerves can function as if you were 10 years younger. These are the best vitamins for seniors. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA, the most important vitamin for adults over 65, protects the heart, brain, bones, and immune system. A European study associates it with a 36% lower risk of death. It is not a classic vitamin, but for those over 65, omega-3, EPA, and DHA are vital. Studies show that they protect the brain, heart, joints, and increase life expectancy. A massive study in 2021 showed that higher levels of omega-3 were linked to greater longevity. Another study showed that they reduced the risk of fatal heart attacks in older adults by more than 45%. Your body needs EPA and DHA to build brain tissue, reduce inflammation, and keep blood vessels flexible. Without enough omega-3s, older adults are more susceptible to memory loss and accelerated aging. More than 68% of Americans over 60 suffer from omega-3 deficiency due to an insufficient diet. The best source is fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel, but food often does not suffice. High-quality fish oil supplements are essential. Look for one that provides at least 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA combined per day. If you have heart problems, you may need 2,000 milligrams or more under medical guidance. Choose a formula tested for purity, free from heavy metals, and in triglyceride form for better absorption. Take it with meals. If you are vegan, there are excellent specific supplements. Omega-3s not only prevent heart attacks, they help you think more clearly, move more easily, sleep more soundly, and age better. They are the structure of your brain and help cellular communication. After 65, it is not a luxury. It is a necessity for your senior health. For seniors who want to stay sharp and strong, omega-3s are a nutritional insurance policy. At this point in the video, you have discovered the truth about vitamins for seniors after 65. Some help you live longer and stronger. Others can sap your strength and put your heart at risk. Even though the label says it's for seniors, it's not about taking more. It's about being smarter. You need the right nutrients in the right form and dosage for your age and your future. This means eliminating excess toxins and giving your cells the support to keep you alive and active. What's in your medicine cabinet? Comment and tell us which vitamins shock you the most. Have you ever wondered why, despite your commitment to eating well, exercising a little, and following a lifestyle that you consider correct, you feel your legs getting weaker and weaker? Why did those stairs you used to climb without thinking now seem like insurmountable mountains? Or why does getting up from a chair require an effort you didn't know about before? Is it just the normal aging process, or is there something else, a hidden factor that is slowly eating away at you, day by day? You might be in for a surprise here. You see, it's not always a question of what you're not doing. Sometimes the problem lies in what you're already doing, convinced that you're acting for your own good, for your own health. Most older people make a silent mistake every day with absolute certainty, believing they are making the right choice because all their lives they have been told that fruit is healthy, natural, a real panacea. And for the most part, that's true. But here's the reality that no one talks about. Not all fruit is created equal, especially for those over 60 who want to maintain their senior health. In fact, some fruits, the very ones you may consume every week thinking you're eating a balanced diet and a healthy diet, can gradually weaken your legs, cause knee pain, worsen joint inflammation, and make every step more tiring. Fruits advertised as healthy foods can actually be sneaky enemies of your mobility, balance, and leg strength. Before we go any further, if you find this information about senior health useful, I ask you for a small gesture. Like this video and share it with the people you care about. It could make a difference for them. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips on senior health and healthy living. You see, as we age, our bodies change. Circulation can weaken, metabolism slows, and foods that used to be good for us can now start to do us harm in subtle ways, especially certain fruits. They may look innocent, taste sweet and inviting. However, they contain significant amounts of acids, specific carbohydrates, and other substances that can unbalance your blood sugar levels, trigger joint inflammation, and, in the long run, sap the energy of your legs. And the worst part? The damage is gradual, almost imperceptible, until one day you feel that persistent pain in your calves, that discomfort in your thighs, or that strange stiffness in your knees after a simple walk. Today, we will reveal the 7 fruits that I call silent killers of leg energy, the ones that every person over 60 should consider very carefully or even avoid, especially if you want to protect your legs from damage, pain, and long-term weakening. Despite their apparent innocence, none of these fruits are. After hearing the truth, you may never look at your fruit salad the same way again. Follow me to the end if you value your strength and want to keep your legs stable, strong, and pain-free. Maybe your body is waiting for this very alarm bell. Let's start with the first fruit on our list. It is often praised for its supposed ability to reduce inflammation. However, in older people, it may have the exact opposite effect. Let's talk about pineapple, the anti-inflammatory false friend. Ah, pineapple, tropical, juicy, refreshing. For years, it has been celebrated as a natural anti-inflammatory thanks to a substance called bromelain. But here's the twist. While many think pineapple reduces inflammation, for older adults it may be a hidden cause of problems. Pineapple contains powerful acids and a significant amount of natural sugars. And these sugars are not as harmless as they seem, especially if you are over 60. As we age, our blood vessels become more delicate and sensitive. They no longer respond to sugar swings as they once did. Pineapple, despite its theoretical benefits, adds a hefty dose of natural sugar to the blood, causing a rapid increase in blood sugar. This spike can damage the small veins that supply blood to the legs, feet, and muscles. Over time, circulation worsens, less oxygen reaches the legs, and the result? Pain, fatigue, swelling. That dull, nagging pain in your legs after a short walk? That stiffness in your knees when you stand? Ankles that suddenly hurt even though you've been sitting? It could be pineapple, and that's not all. The acidity in pineapple can irritate your joints, especially if you already have inflammation or arthritis. It's like throwing gasoline on the fire that's already burning in your ankles, hips, and knees. Some even notice a feeling of heaviness in the legs after eating pineapple, as if their strength is gradually ebbing away. And if you take medications, especially blood thinners, bromelain can interact, making some medications too strong or ineffective. The damage is subtle, but real. Let's move on to the second fruit, bananas, the imposter of muscle energy. Soft, sweet, rich in potassium. A staple food for many, recommended to give energy, prevent cramps, and do good for the muscles. For the elderly, however, the story can be different. Bananas are packed with natural sugars and fast-digesting carbohydrates. This means that right after you eat them, your blood sugar levels will skyrocket. When this happens frequently, your body can start to develop insulin resistance. The result: poor circulation, increased inflammation, and your legs will suffer. You may feel that slight soreness when walking or climbing stairs, that heaviness in your legs after meals, that stiffness in your calves. But it doesn't stop there. Bananas can contribute to fluid retention, especially if you already have a bit of a heart condition. This translates into swollen feet and ankles and stiffer joints. The effect is silent. You eat them thinking they're helping your muscles, but they could, on the contrary, slowly sap your strength. The third fruit is grapes. Small berries, big inflammatory effect. Small, juicy, easy to eat as a snack. It also has a great reputation. Good for the heart, rich in antioxidants. However, most people ignore one crucial detail. Grapes, for seniors, can contribute to that annoying leg pain, stiffness, and inflammation. Why? Grapes contain fructose, a sugar that in high concentrations can be problematic. It is metabolized directly by the liver, and when the liver can't handle it all, it turns into fat and uric acid. This is where the real damage begins, especially in your toes, ankles, and knees. Uric acid builds up in your joints, causing that intermittent pain, that burning, that swelling, that shooting pain in your big toe at night, that unexpected stiffness in your calves. A handful of grapes could be to blame. And fructose also fuels chronic inflammation in your body, leading to slower movement and more stiffness. It's also a fruit that's all too easy to overindulge in. Now let's talk about watermelon, the false hydrator. Light, refreshing, a symbol of summer and hydration. It seems impossible that this very watery fruit could harm your legs, right? Everyone says that watermelon is an excellent way to hydrate, low in calories, almost all water. But here's the secret. Watermelon has an extremely high glycemic index. That means it quickly raises blood sugar levels, just like a candy bar. And for older adults, these frequent sugar spikes are bad for you, especially your legs. When blood sugar rises rapidly, the body releases insulin. But as we age, insulin regulation can become less efficient. This leads to inflammation, especially in areas where circulation is already compromised: calves, ankles, knees. Your legs may feel tired right after eating it or uncomfortable when walking. That strange, persistent swelling around your ankles? It could be her. Oranges, the acid attack on the joints. Fresh scent, symbol of vitamin C and health. Juices, breakfast, supplements. They are said to strengthen the immune system. However, for the elderly, especially over 60, oranges could hide an unpleasant reality: acidity, the sworn enemy of the joints. Oranges are rich in citric acid. While this may seem normal, it can cause mild but constant irritation in your joints, especially if your body is already battling inflammation, stiffness, or arthritis. You may experience gradual stiffness in your knees when you wake up, lingering pain in your hip, that nagging feeling in your legs after sitting for a long time. Citric acid enters the bloodstream and can exacerbate discomfort in the delicate tissues of the joints. When mixed with the natural sugar of the fruit, it also causes fluctuations in blood sugar. The result? Widespread inflammation. Green apples, the secret cause of leg pain. Crisp, clean-looking, and organic. Many, especially older adults, believe that green apples are the healthiest choice because they taste less sweet. They seem like a harmless, low-sugar snack. But beware, green apples may cause tiredness, stiffness, and leg pain. The culprits: malic acid and the hidden natural sugar. Malic acid, responsible for the sour taste, can be irritating to the digestive system of older adults and, once absorbed, can irritate tissues, including joints. Some people feel pain in their hips or thighs, others a slight heat in their feet or stiffness in their knees after eating them. And even though they are less sweet than red ones, they still contain sugars that can cause blood sugar fluctuations in those with a slow metabolism. And finally, mango, the sugar bomb for your joints. Juicy, soft, almost caramelized. A fruit loved by many. But here's the truth: mango may be one of the most harmful fruits for seniors who suffer from joint weakness and leg pain. Why? It contains a huge amount of natural sugar, and I'm not talking about a little bit, but a massive dose that will make your blood sugar levels skyrocket quickly and violently. After 60, your metabolism changes. That sugar rush causes an insulin spike and subsequent crash. Each time this happens, your body creates deep inflammation in your joints, especially in the soft tissue around your ankles, hips, and knees. You may feel burning toes, a persistent tingling sensation, evening swelling in your feet, or an uncomfortable feeling of heaviness in your legs. Now, I know this information may seem a little alarming, especially if some of these fruits are among your favorites. But the good news is that there are many other fruits that, on the contrary, can support the health of your legs, reduce joint pain, and fight inflammation. Let's talk briefly about these therapeutic alternatives. What should seniors eat instead? Berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. They are powerful anti-inflammatory agents, low in sugar and rich in antioxidants. They improve circulation, especially in the legs. Cherries, but in moderation. They can help reduce uric acid, relieving joint pain. Avocado, a real panacea for joint health, rich in good fats that reduce inflammation. Papaya. Its enzymes help reduce inflammation and aid digestion. It is gentle on the joints. Pears, perhaps accompanied by a small amount of fiber or protein, that offer a delicate sweetness without stressing the body. Remember, it's not just about eating fruit, it's about choosing the right one for your age and body right now. If you have come this far, it means one thing: you care about your health, your strength, your future. And I want you to hear this clearly. It is not too late to change. You still have time to recover. Getting older brings challenges, it's true. Pain, stiffness, and fear of falling can creep in gradually. But you can take charge with reasonable, modest changes, one choice at a time. Getting older doesn't mean giving up, it means getting wiser. You'll notice the difference when you start eating mindfully, choosing foods that support your strength, circulation, and joints. Less discomfort, more flexibility, happier mornings, and lighter steps. I would love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what you learned today and what small change you are ready to make. Click the like button if this video was helpful to you. Subscribe so you don't miss out on other valuable information for your senior health. And always remember, your legs support your independence. Take care of them. Thanks for listening.